Sired in the city that is home to the fastest 2 minutes in sports, Local Union number 369 of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers has galloped sure and steady through the course of the past century to establish and sustain a 100-year tradition of excellence.
December 7, 1910 is quite a milestone. Very few locals ever survived to that point, and it's a very proud moment. Not so much for me, I've been around 25 years, but 75 years before I was here, there's a lot of people that built this place that made it what it is, so I'm proud to be sitting here now.
It is our firm conviction that we are on the dawn of a new era for the electrical worker in our city, for we have realized the fact that only through concerted action and stamina can old 369 ever hope to go forward as an organization. And you can expect great things from this local, for we have waked from our Rip Van Winkle sleep and intend to stay awoke. When Local 369 business agent William J. Bussum penned these thoughts to the IBEW's Electrical Worker publication in 1912, it had been nearly 2 years since the International Union chartered a local on December 7, 1910 for Louisville, Kentucky. But that was far from a first attempt at organizing the city's inside electrical workers in the anti-union climate pervading Louisville and the entire nation at the time. But Louisville, spurred on to commercial and industrial development by its position as a river port city and transportation terminal bordering the South, would not be denied. An incarnate Local 369 received a charter from the IBEW on March 2, 1903, though it faded into history with the International's internal revolt, known as the Reed-Murphy Split during the early 1900s. This, however, spawned a new and permanent IBEW Local, another 369 that would stand the test of time through prosperity and hardship for at least the next 100 years.
Well, like anything else, if you don't know where you came from, you just show up and work. It means nothing. The brotherhood means nothing. Working beside that brother or sister means nothing. But if you see where we started, how hard it was to get the conditions we have, to get to where we are today, then you understand the importance of keeping it and making it better tomorrow.
The local, with its growth and with the number of outreach agents and offices we have here, through political involvement, through membership involvement, through continued education and training, we've been able to grow and continue to grow the local and keep it strong through the years.
So some men gave their lives, 1 or 2 electricians died at the beginning, so it's very important. People gave their life for this trade to succeed, so we're carrying on their tradition.
After Louisville's electricians gained reinstatement into the IBEW on December 7, 1910, they soon became a fixture in Louisville and the surrounding area. Early on, as the city and region grew, so too did the local. By the end of its first decade, which saw many 369 members join the colors during the First World War, the local had grown to 110 inside electricians and outside linemen members, who were making $1 an hour by that time. The skies are gray and all is gloomy, and it seems that it will be some time before we will be able to see the silver lining. But it must come, and it will. In the throes of the country's Great Depression of the 1930s, Press Secretary Robert Berry gave that indication to the IBEW Journal of how it was adversely impacting Local 369, as it was so many others. But even in the grip of the economic despair, the local kept its gaze straight ahead, in 1931 hiring its first business agent, Herbert H. Hudson, who would serve in that role for the next 26 years. The local also grew at the time, annexing part of IBEW Local 286 in New Albany, Indiana in August 1934, and expanding its jurisdiction into southern Indiana. The Ohio River Great Flood of January 1937 would further devastate the Louisville region, submerging 70% of the city. And Local 369 would again help it rise above, as Press Secretary Baldy Brown told the IBEW Journal in September 1937. Louisville is shining once again. That which was the water spot of the South is again the big gateway to the South. During the 1940s, many Local 369 members joined the fight in World War II, while many remained stateside, working in the local rubber, aluminum, and ship factories that would help sustain the war effort. Dozens of women would also answer the call, joining Local 369's Marine Division, where some worked at the Jeffersonville Boat Works on the landing ship tanks that were vital in the Allied invasion of Europe, earning themselves the Army-Navy E Award for their efforts. Following the war, 369 continued to grow, taking over Louisville Local 993 on June 15, 1946, its membership expanding to above 900. And by the mid-1950s, the local was servicing inside electrical, outside line, electrical manufacturing, utility, radio, television, and sound and public address trades classifications. 369 was indeed prospering at the time, thanks in no small part to construction of the massive General Electric Appliance Park in Louisville.
Well, I think we're very fortunate that our forefathers knew the electrical industry was one with growth. They also knew that they needed to diversify our local, take in all segments of the electrical industry, so we had a strong revenue stream, and we just didn't become one-dimension local. We only had one facet to grow. So that's been our strength, with diversity and being able to organize other sectors of the electrical industry.
While Local 369's 1,300-strong membership marked its first half-century, complete with a celebration at Freedom Hall in the Kentucky Exposition Center on November 19, 1960, uncertain times were on the horizon. But the local would remain steady over the following decades, an era marked by continued growth in membership and construction of a new Union Hall at 4315 Preston Highway, where the current hall sits, which it dedicated with a ribbon-cutting ceremony on June 21, 1970. By the end of the turbulent decade that saw the end of the Vietnam War and the onset of a recession, the local was additionally servicing maintenance, electric signs, and broadcasting classifications, and its membership surpassed 1,800. On January 1, 1978, the local took over another IBEW Local, number 1286. But the work situation was in fast decline, as the local had lost its commercial market, and unemployment mounted. Into the 1980s, construction work was slow, and unemployment for the local reached 10%, while a 32-hour work week was instituted during much of the decade. Meanwhile, the jurisdiction's entire industrial base was shrinking, with the exodus of icons such as International Harvester, American Standard, and Brown & Williamson. Through the 1990s and into the 21st century, Local 369 would expand with the amalgamation of 3 more locals: 828 of Bowling Green on January 1, 1990, 183 of Lexington on August 1, 1998, and parts of 101 of Somerset on May 1, 2000. The local's active membership reached nearly 2,900. 369's reach was now unmistakably felt throughout the entire state of Kentucky and into parts of Indiana. To much fanfare, a new Union Hall and training facility were built onto the current headquarters on Preston Highway in 2001. As the local and its city, state, and nation came to grips with and responded to the September 11th terrorist attacks on the United States, work slowed, contributing to unemployment in 2002 that was the worst the local had ever experienced. But like the nation, the local has held strong and raced towards its 100th anniversary, remaining proactive in the labor fronts as it looks towards a bright future, the blueprint for which the Local's press secretary John E. Morrison summarized in the May 2006 Journal. Quote, "It is amazing what we can accomplish when we all stick together. We must continue working together. Not only are we fighting at the bid tables to get jobs, we are also at war to keep the wages and benefits we have. United we stand. Divided we fall."
This is my circle of friends. It's all the members. One of my apprentices years ago introduced me to his sister, and she's been my wife of 18 years. So it's kind of one big family around here. And now there's a lot of kinfolk in this local, and I'm one of them too. So.
One of the reasons we may have endured so long is just the quality of the membership, the number of people that care about what's going on, that care about their brothers, that genuinely want to see each of us do well.
Well, the bonds and the ties that we've established in the community throughout the years, on the political level and the commercial level, retail, things like that, some of those bonds are inseparable. You get what you pay for, so to speak. So I think our long-standing tradition of excellence and craftsmanship is, it's its own reward.
Well, you always remember your first job. I worked on the first building at Jackson Broadway, the AAA building.
Well, I worked at a nuclear powerhouse.
But I did work for Honeywell for a couple of years.
Local 369's footprint can be seen throughout Louisville, the region, the state of Kentucky, and into southern Indiana. Undoubtedly, the Local has helped build each into what they are today, providing the skilled manpower to help construct the businesses, schools, hospitals, homes, factories, and infrastructures that have spurred growth and opportunity throughout the years.
Well, one of them would be the Corvette plant in Bowling Green.
Gent Powerhouse.
The Bat Factory, the Higginson and Bradsby.
The many institutions in Local 369's jurisdiction have provided a constant source of not just employment, but also pride for the 369 workforce. And in return, the 369 membership has given back to each with their skill and dedication. To icons such as Churchill Downs, one of the longest continuous services performed by union electricians in this jurisdiction, Ford Motor Company, the University of Louisville, and Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory. Indeed, the city's skyline and the entire region's face have been shaped with the manpower of IBEW Local 369.
I can remember the first job I worked on as an apprentice. It was converting a three-story home to a triplex apartment.
The projects I ran in the field was University of Kentucky Administration Building.
I worked on the Mississippi Queen from the first keel was laid till she was finished, 3 years, 3-year project.
Local 369 would like to provide the community with the best product available.
The biggest thing and the one sure thing that you want to try to provide your members all the time is the opportunity, work opportunities, and the availability of work. But also that feeling of brotherhood and having the people involved with your local union.
Throughout a century, IBEW Local 369 has worked to make itself a viable and vibrant asset to its industry and its community. Today, while firmly entrenched in both the inside and outside electrical industries throughout all of Kentucky and parts of Indiana, the Local continues to seek and incorporate new and greater programs, benefits, and technologies for its membership to help carry on the Local's tradition of excellence well into the future.
It's 100 years of brotherhood for everybody that's been in it, and it's been good living for everybody that's been in it. And we went through hard times and good times together, and it's still here.
Here in our 100th year with IBEW, we sit in a wonderful area where we can make some great decisions to move onward and upward, and it's up to all of us to come together to take that strength that we've developed over the years and make it better every day.
But the 100th anniversary is
is great. You know, it shows you how strong the international is, the IBEW, because we've been around for 100 years now, and we're going to be around for another 100 too.
Well, I hope it keeps going. I don't worry about tomorrow because I don't even buy green bananas, but I hope they keep on going because they do a great job. They really do.
Well, being a member of this local is, it's an honor. We've had to earn it, we've had to work for it, and I'm very proud of it.
This is probably the best local in the IBEW as far as I'm concerned.